slew of headlines out of China hitting the airwaves as the country prepares to kick off a big holiday week. Apple raising concerns over new rules that could restrict foreign apps in the country. China's Trade Council also asking the U.S. to reconsider its tech ban, and company executives feeling the heat, one detained while another's banned from leaving the country. Let's bring in CNBC contributor Dewardric McNeal to help break it all down. He's the managing director, senior policy analyst at Longview Global. Dewardric, great to have you with us. On top of this, President Xi, President Biden are expected to meet face-to-face sometime in November. I'm wondering, how do you read all of this?
Well, first of all, thanks for having me, Melissa. Look, I think if you're watching China right now, it is mass confusion and a contradiction in terms of what we think China wants, listening to some of the rhetoric versus the actions. And so if you're a business now trying to figure out the direction, it's extremely, extremely hard to do. I mean, you raised Apple as a perfect example. The hits keep on coming for Apple. And in this case, as you point out, the government wanted Apple to remove Facebook, X, and Instagram from the China App Store. These platforms cannot be accessed through the web, but through a VPN, they can, and they're unregistered foreign apps, Melissa. These companies are not going to register because now they become liable for cross-border data transfers. You spoke about exit bans. Most of these exit bans are coming from companies doing due diligence and risk assessment. So if you're a company trying to invest in China, you need these services, but your people are being targeted. So it's a massive confusion. I would not want to be the one making decisions on whether to stay or go right now.
Do you read this as sort of a ramping up because they are scheduled to meet, a sort of proof that we are tough, we can really make your life difficult, and so when we meet, you listen to us?
Yeah, look, I think what is happening here, to the degree that any of us can know, is, there are some real challenges about the way forward in China. There's pretty much acceptance that the old development model, the old growth model, property sector, tons of exports, that model is broken. Where she wants to take the economy is in the high-tech space, high-tech manufacturing, semiconductor chips. So that's where he wants to go. The problem is there's concern that there may be systemic risk and contagion in the old sector. And so he's trying to slowly land that plane while taking off. And it's not happening because he also has concerns about stability and national security risks. So it's a massive confusion. But I think what he's really trying to sort out is the domestic challenges at home and trying to prepare himself for long-term competition with the U.S. And a lot of these things are not congruent. In fact, they're contradicting one another.
Dewardric, when you look at the companies in China themselves and the ones that have been under the most pressure, we talk about them on the show, whether it's an Alibaba or some of the national champion tech companies. How do you view that environment? Because the things you're talking about is they could be the vehicles, and I realize that on some level they've gotten ahead of the state, and that's been part of their problem. Do you think the environment, based on everything you just said, and I think I totally agree with these dynamics of kind of old school, new school economy stuff, shouldn't these companies be part of their plan to advance the technology at these places?
Yeah, I think you're absolutely right, Tim. The goal is not to kill them off completely. The goal is to bring them into compliance and make sure that they are moving in the same direction as the party state's development strategy for soft tech. For hard tech, this is where most of the focus, most of the investment, I think most of the government resources are going to go, the hard sciences, the things that we've been talking about. How does China become self-reliant in chip manufacturing? What's going to happen with advanced manufacturing? So to the degree that soft tech can be useful, and I think we're seeing them all come along, that's fine. But they're not going to be killed off, but they're not going to have the sort of clout, the sort of muscle and resonance that they used to have in this new model.